When you were a kid, you probably played with toy cars, Legos, a ball, a frisbee, or you probably played games outside like hide and seek or tag. But a kid's thinking has changed from your time to today. In today's world, kids are already have a phone, a tablet, or a watch, or a computer, or any other device, and it's and they maybe all have it all together, but it's usually the kids that their parents think it's a good thing to have devices because they think they will benefit. And I'm talking about today why kids shouldn't have electronics. And the parents usually think they benefit from this because they get to experience educating programs, or they get to chat with others. But they should understand that this is barely helpful for the kids because it will just set them back. So today what I'm going to be talking about is how technology affects their social life and skills, how they are good at causing body problems or physical problems, and how they cause mental problems. So so children could be really a handful because they might need like sleep, or they could be hungry, or they just want you to spend time with them. But that doesn't mean that leaving them on a device all day will will call it spending time, because devices just lock their way of actually spending time and communicating with others, not just at home but like also at school, or anywhere they are that they're able to use devices. And they would exclude themselves from everybody else, which would make them socially awkward or shy, or simply just not wanting to become friends with anyone, or exclude themselves from a friend group. And then we're gonna move on to the next to the next bad effect, which was the problems on kids' bodies. Kids, when they usually like to use technology, they like to eat, or and this really just causes them, since they're not getting any movement, they're just growing weight. and and the devices also keep them basically from just like at least walking around or doing something useful, or just getting enough movement from anything. In other words, they get obese. And this is kind of also like mental too, because these electronics also keep them from sleeping during the nighttime. They keep them distracted, which causes them to sit back in school, not keep up, or like in sports or whatever they do after school. And they would just sleep their way throughout the school day, which caused them to get bad grades and everything. But it's because they think that a video game is more important, or whatever app they're using on a phone or any electronic is more important than anything else. And then we're moving on to our third and final effect on why electronics are bad. And this is probably like the worst one, which is horrible mental health, because usually these kids like fall into a depression, that and anxiety, which is like a really hard hole to get out of, and they basically guarantee it for like a majority of their childhood. And this also ties back to the first effect, which is that they don't communicate with anyone, or they just don't want to speak to anyone, and excluding themselves from everybody means that they don't want to like speak to anybody about their problems, or they won't seek help with at least a doctor or their parent or guardian. And it's like the holes just getting deeper to them. And we're and with that, we have reached the end of this speech. And what today we talked about was the social life and their skills, how they are affected by these electronics, their how they could get really bad body problems, and how they could get horrible and awful mental problems, which could also send them back in the future. And I hope that today I taught you well about electronics and their bad effect on kids. And if you ever have children, or if you're taking care of a kid, don't ever think that leaving one with an electronic is a good thing. Thank you.